in the indie feature world, it's like, what do you mean the client or the investor like is the one with the last final say on the creative? As the director saying that is, what do you mean? I don't understand. That's my job.
Yes. That is a learning experience that I think a lot of indie filmmakers who have had to produce out of necessity have to learn when they are at a position that they are able to separate and have the privilege to only focus on directing and no longer have to produce. This is good, but it's weird. Now I have to listen to somebody. What do you mean I can't just do whatever the fuck I want?
Oh man.
To the people.
I have to collaborate, not just with myself.
Get Reelisms podcast.
I am Adam Chase Ready.
And I am Christine Chen. And surprise, we're both filmmakers.
We get into it by sharing secrets, advice, and gossip in filmmaking.
And we even get our other filmmaking friends to share theirs too.
So please, everybody, join us for
an ode to filmmaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been here all day with us, thank you so much. We're doing a threefer, okay? We're doing 3 episodes today.
This is our first time doing it.
So welcome, one and all, to the Get Reelisms podcast, episode 182. Oh. My name is Adam Chase Rennie.
And I'm Christine Chen, and we have a special guest. She is my friend, and she's an awesome producer. Lauren, will you please introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. I'm Lauren Bancroft, an independent genre producer here in LA. Yes, that's it. That's it.
That's not just it. Yes, Bancroft. We always just call it Bancroft on set. So,
yep,
yes.
I love that.
Yes, Bancroft.
Yeah.
Yes, so Lauren and I met through through the fellowship? Is that how we first met? Was through the
Black Magic Collective
Producer
Lab? Yes,
producing lab. That was 2 years ago,
fall of 2023. Yeah,
2023. Yes, and so that's how we all met, and then we reconnected again last year when we went to the American Film Market, AFM.
Yes, we were in Vegas. I love that. I think I bumped into Mai because she had won the platinum badge and I had gone crazy and splurged on paying full price for a platinum badge.
I paid for the badge as well. Well, the team paid for the badge so that I could go and figure out international distribution or what that would be like.
Yeah, so I ran into Maya and then she's, oh, Christine's here. I'm like, yay! So I like glommed onto you two and we like got a couple meals and went to a couple cool parties. So I love that. I went like stag essentially. I went by myself and I stumbled into a couple of really great female filmmakers who I wanted to connect with anyway.
No, that was it was both a good and disappointing is not the word I was trying to look for.
Yeah, be honest, Christine. Speak your truth.
It was like when it's one of those things where it's like you have a childhood hero and you meet them and they turn out to be a dick. That's the experience.
Ouch.
Ow.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. It was like, oh, cool, we're gonna go to this AFM, and it wasn't because AFM was bad. It was because of the sad reality of what distribution is what it was like a kick in the gut of, oh, this is how the sausage is made, and this is the sad reality of it. But it's better that I know. So
is it just like schmoozing and networking? What is it? It's that okay.
It's definitely, on one hand, it's like people on the business side of film say if you don't go to AFM, then you're not taking your film career seriously. And it's because of the proximity that going to AFM, it's like there's a ton of salespeople there, sales agencies, distributors, producers, writers, and directors go to work to form those relationships to do that schmoozing. But essentially the whole point of it is it's maybe an outdated model in the current digital world that we live in, but previously, it was where all of these people get together in the same physical space. 7 or 8 floors of the hotel are shut down. The hotel rooms are turned into physical, like, sales agents' offices. The furniture's taken out. There are offices built, like, brought in, like, desks and stuff built in their place. So so you can go from room to room if you've previously set up these meetings, which is an important step of getting their like soft yes in advance so that you could have these meetings in person. Because you can't just walk into any office and get a meeting. They're going to have full 12-hour days already booked out with like breakfast and lunch meetings as well. So it's just, I think on one hand, it's like you think if you go, you'll be able to get access to people into companies, but that's not necessarily true. So I think it's maybe like an expectation thing, but
Right.
now it's like in the digital world, you don't necessarily have to actually be in the same space to form those relationships and those connections. So on one hand, I think it is very cool. Christy, I'm sorry that you didn't.
No,
I think
it
there
is cool.
value.
I think what it was is that it completely takes the not fantasy, but the film, the artsy, it's a business.
It's creativeless. It's yeah.
Really slaps you in the face that this is a product and it's a business.
Yeah.
And it takes the art of it completely out of it. And I think even though and it's in the back of your mind, like you always know that you're selling this as a product. It's hard when you just see
That's
it.
grueling.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
When it's like you are one of however many people go there with their product, of however many floors of distributors are looking. Like, I just felt this is going to sound very crude. I felt like a prostitute.
Oh yeah, I feel like a lot of those events. It's crude,
It's
but
no
yeah,
longer
I see
love. It's no longer about love and a relationship and stuff like that.
It's a transaction.
Sex is a transaction. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Films are a transaction. It's not about the art. It's not about the blah, blah, blah. It's a transaction. And I think that is the rude awakening of it.
Yeah.
That was disheartening. It was not because the event itself was horrible or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think as an artist, it can be very disheartening because of that.
Yeah.
Because I have been so very separated from that, not living in LA. When you make movies elsewhere, not in LA, when you start off as a kid, maybe you make for me, I started making movies in Texas, somewhere else. Hollywood is this dream place, right? It's if you have a dream, you make this dream, and it's this art thing, and it's just weird to see this art dream be just a product, a transactional product. Does that make sense what I'm trying to describe? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. But first thing, sex work is real work, obviously. We support the sex work.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it makes so much sense that it's when you get into filmmaking because you want to be a storyteller because you have stories to tell.
Yes.
And you have a vision. So to then be in a place where it literally is the business side of filmmaking.
Purely.
It is the profitability. And I feel like with every year, we get closer and closer to lowering those budgets and like all the technology that's coming in and threatening this industry. It's just every year the money and the profit and the box office, etc., becomes more and more important for filmmaking, which is why it's like the budgets get lower because the profit margins need to get bigger. And it's all very scary. And like AFM for me, I think was a great experience, if only because I got to like really work the muscle of starting up conversations with people just at the bar, just sitting next to me at a panel. I would just introduce myself, ask them about them, tell them about my projects, give them a business card. I actually still have, it lives on my desk. This is literally the stack of business cards I got at AFM last year. This is
crazy.
I'm like a proud hunter with a deer head. This is
trophies.
I'm deeply proud of this because I went and I made the decision to
make as many connections as possible.
And to practice of like after 2 days, I was like, I have it down.
Yeah.
I'm like playing around with introducing myself in different ways.
Yes.
Like I started introducing myself as a genre film producer and people are like, ooh, tell me about that. What is that? I'm like, okay, great. That's getting them to be interested in the type of stories that I want to be telling. So I think for me as like someone who does really like being analytical and likes to be thrust in a situation where I have to learn and grow and be on my feet, I feel like I got a lot out of it. And I'm glad that it's back in LA from Vegas. The travel element and the casino element, I think, was not amazing for my first time. So I'm glad that it's back in LA. And then this year, I won the Platinum Badge giveaway. So I'm so excited. So now I don't have to pay for travel.
Amazing.
4 for the 5-day badge. Yeah, I could not. I got the DM and I screamed. I literally was so excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am looking forward to it, even though it's going to be like, I have to like mentally psych myself up to be like, okay,
Yes.
going
You
into
have
like
to be in the mood. You have to be in that.
12-hour day of being social, being on the entire time. And I won't have a hotel room in the venue to go hide in for 20 minutes when I need to. But anyway, I am looking forward. But it makes total sense, Christine, especially you being a director. Like you are on the creative side.
So that's what I'm saying. I think if I was, I think that's what was an eye opener for me in terms of I'm not I produce and I can produce and I know how to produce, but I am not a producer.
But to do it out of necessity is one thing.
The producer out of necessity. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly. And so many directors have to do that. And writers or actors, they have to learn. I mean, I think of producing as a skill set, right? It's not necessarily a job description, even though there are a million different types of producers. Right. I think of it as a job description. So when you're a writer and you want to get your project produced, you learn what are the bare essentials of a producer that I need to do. The bare necessities that you have to learn to be able to produce it enough to make it a real thing. And that's not saying you learn the full scope of the job of a producer. You just identify what are the needs, and then you have to find a way to fill those needs.
Yeah. No, it's so fascinating because it's like they say, what is it that drains you and what gives you energy? And that is when you determine what you should do or should not do. So you can see these two different experiences and two different perspectives. So when I went, I was drained, but that is because I know very well that I am not a producer. Like I'm a producer out of necessity. So for me, it was disheartening because I'm like, it took all of the magic out of filmmaking just killed it basically. But I am glad I have that perspective because I understand having that perspective is power for a filmmaker to be able to think that way. And I've always liked that I live in this in between of having business acumen and being an artist as well, although they constantly fight each other. But it's very interesting that yours, because it's very much producer, you were empowered completely by it, right? Because you were growing that skill set being there, which is 100% right. Yeah, because you were practicing that skill set. I was just like, fuck, I don't want to talk to any more people. Because I was sad that nobody cared, because that's the thing is the reality. What I was learning was nobody cares what you went through to make the film.
No,
they don't care about they didn't care why I wanted to make this film. They didn't care about, they were looking for the numbers. They were looking for the, okay, what does it have? Who's in this? Okay, how much you make it? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Here's the budget. Like, it was so just numbers and straight, like, logic. And that, to an artist, is crushing.
Yeah, because you just see that thing that you work so hard on just be a product, essentially.
Yeah. So that's what I meant by, for me, the experience was different. But I'm glad I went to see that, because it's commercialized. It's art being commercialized, but it's a whole thing I've had to learn coming here, because filmmaking has always been a passion, has always been for a vision, for a feeling, for a love, for a community, for something. And coming here, I had to learn how to let go, even from being a director for hire. Like, sometimes it doesn't matter what I want as long as the client is happy from a creative standpoint. I already did that for corporate work, like a commercial or whatever. I could understand that, but I couldn't figure how that applied to a film. I think this idea is dumb that they want me to shoot 5 inserts of this one thing that makes no sense to me. But okay.
Yeah, like in the indie feature world, it's, what do you mean the client or the investor is the one with the last final say on the creative? As the director saying that, it's like, wait, what do you mean? I don't understand. That's my job. That's the job.
Yes. Yeah. So that's been a fun learning experience, has been that. Like, because that is a learning experience that I think a lot of indie filmmakers who have had to produce out of necessity have to learn when they when they are at a position that they are able to separate and have the privilege to only focus on directing and no longer have to produce. This is good that I can learn that, but it's weird to be separated from that and be like, what do you now I have to listen to somebody? What do you mean I can't just do whatever the fuck I want?
Oh, man. Yeah.
I have to listen to people? Ugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I have to collaborate, not just with myself,
Yeah.
as both halves of your brain as the producer and director.
What do you mean I have to collaborate with somebody that's not myself?
Silly. But also fair. I bet so many directors / producers out of necessity that will absolutely resonate with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have to collaborate with someone other than myself.
No.
That's a great quote.
Boom.
Yeah. If only there was an option to work with myself.
But not go insane.
But not go insane.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And make 2 salaries. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, but that was the thing. So it was like going here and being like, oh, like I just felt, that's what I'm saying. That's the best one. I felt like a sex worker. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was. Everything was transactional. It was no longer the love and the romance and everything. It was just like, how much do you want? $5 for this. Oh,
Yeah, at least it didn't make you like, at least you came from here. So like you're not a jaded filmmaker. So that like when you do pitch, it's not automatically like numbers. It's about like when you first talk about your movie, it's like there's passion with it. There's a story, there's characters, there's this, there's that. Instead of just being like, it's going to cost about X amount of dollars to create. The budget's going to be this much. The locations are this. Yeah, you just are like robotically saying all of the data that all these people want to know. But you don't do that. You don't start off doing that. You start off with,
but not all
the
producers
passion.
are like that. I was just like, I don't know. I was shocked. So that, Lauren, how did you end up knowing that you wanted to produce? Were you always producer or?
No, actually, there was a time when I was producing when I didn't know that I was producing.
Just like everyone else. It's like we just fall into these departments and we're just like, oh, okay, I guess I would do this now.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually started working when I was 14. I started working in IT. I worked at an IT provider back in New Hampshire, where I'm originally from.
At 14? Wow.
14, baby. State of New Hampshire, child labor laws. You got to be 14 to work. Yeah, I got my first job at 14, my second job at 15. I constantly, like New England work ethic, work, productivity is king.
Yeah.
Trying desperately to unlearn a lot of that.
Right.
In my mid 30s. But the work doesn't stop. So yeah, I actually had a 14-year career in IT before I left to pursue production full time. But in the last couple of years where I was working in IT, I also did stand-up for 10 years and sketch comedy for about 10 years. So
right on.
I think, on Indeed.
I love sketch comedy.
I miss it. I miss stand-up and I miss sketch, but I'm very active with my sketch comedy teams. We still have very active Facebook chats and like we talk regularly. I'm going to a wedding for a sketch team member this weekend. Yeah, we're all stuck together. Yeah. For better or worse. But I found myself in this very creative community of people who could write, who could act, who could direct, but they did not know how to take a script and turn it into a real thing. And I didn't really know how to do that either, but I knew that I could make lists. I knew that I could check things off of lists. And I know that I could read a script and be like, what are the needs of this? What is needed to turn this into a real thing? So I co-founded a hobbyist production group called Senior Ditch Day because I was taking improv and sketch classes attached to an improv theater in Hollywood. So this group would meet every Saturday afternoon, and it would be like 20 to 30 of us, like on a weekly basis, cold reading sketches. And we had a rule where if you wrote a sketch, you could not also produce it.
Oh, wow.
It would because it would get bogged down. Like you needed more than one person trying to like push a project forward.
Right.
So we would be in situations where a writer would be like, I have this script, let's read it. He'd cast it, or they'd cast it. Look at me being sexist. They'd cast it, and we would do the cold read, and then there'd be some pitches, some suggestions, maybe some trim pitches. And then if nobody raised their hand, it would be like, okay, on to the next one.
Yeah.
But I loved hearing a sketch, laughing. It's hard to make me laugh, but I love dark comedy. If a sketch made me laugh, I'd be like, I want to produce that.
Yeah.
And seeing the writer's face, like, oh, you want to produce it? It was such a wonderful feeling that I had. And I think on a level like me producing now is like still chasing that, wanting to find good writers with good projects that I can be like, I believe in you. Let's make this be. And that's like that's definitely a facet of why I enjoy producing. But just seeing their face light up and being like, I don't really fully know what a producer does, but I can find a director. I can see who in the group, what do we have for gear available this weekend we want to shoot? How long do we have? What location do we have access to? This was all no budget filmmaking. This was all like Rodriguez list city. Yeah. All of us we were like writing to what the stuff that we had based on these lists, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just like, make the lists, find the people responsible for things, make a schedule, ask whoever is shooting it, does this schedule make sense to you? Like, just figuring it out. And then I realized, oh, I thought producing was first ADing for a long time.
I had the opposite. I thought first ADing was producing. Yeah. So same.
Yeah, because it's the producing. It's like
they're all kind of hand a little bit. Yep.
For sure. And I think really what makes you think that when you're in that position is because you don't, if you don't have someone to do a job as the producer, you absorb the immediate responsibilities of that job, and that's making a schedule. That's making sure safety is top priority. And obviously as a producer, I still very much care about safety. It's not like someone else thinks about that. I very much think about that. So yeah, I just fell into this community of creatives who wanted to make stuff, who had no budget, and we all knew that. Nobody cared about getting paid. We all just, a lot of us worked other like day jobs where we just were so desperate for a creative outlet that we would meet every week, and we were making content, and we were making digital shorts. In a year and a half that we were a group, we made over 60 digital shorts for the max budget I think was 300, and it was a really special special sketch to get that much. Usually it was just pay to feed the team. Whoever's willing to show up to help you make it. Yeah, it was just a hobbyist production group, and that was like my film school, because I didn't go to film school.
I also made stuff through sketches too. Yeah. So that's how I learned, was YouTube sketches. Yeah. Sketch comedies. I write, shoot, and edit them. But that was the difference, was I'd produce them as well.
Yeah. Because you had to, because someone has to do that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then when did it start to expand beyond the sketch group?
Yeah, I've always been interested in filmmaking. I actually placed, when I was 13, placed first in the state for digital video editing in a statewide technology association
goodness
competition.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was not an impressive piece of work, but
but to be awarded though,
but for seventh grade in a statewide competition, like that did feel really good. I think I placed 2 years in a row, but like I've always had an interest. I was always making silly little videos. And when I was in high school, I was lucky enough to go to a high school that had a brand new $1.4 million fully functional TV studio.
Wow.
That opened the year before my sophomore year. It opened. That was the first year. And then its second year was my junior year. So I was able to take it for junior and senior year. Video production, broadcasting. We had a channel to the city we could broadcast live whenever we wanted.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Was multi-camera, like I kid you not, brand new equipment, fully functional control room, production offices. It was such an amazing that I don't even know how I learned about the program, because you had to submit, because the classes were like 12 people. It was not they had to keep it small enough to where you could actually do the productions, but and also have the time with the instructor to learn. And it was block scheduling, but it was full year classes. So it was full junior and both semesters, junior and senior year. And I learned so much. I loved it. We were put into production teams for the full year.
Yeah.
And we were like, every week would be like, we're doing live news this week. We're learning about lighting. So pick a scene from a show you like, and you're going to recast and you're going to reshoot to try to mimic the lighting of that scene. We would also do every year we'd do the Turkey Bowl football game on Thanksgiving. Right. We would load up our instructor, Jim Pfeiffer, shout out. I love Jim Pfeiffer. I should reach out. I miss him. He was my mentor and my instructor in this course. And we would load up his Airstream, and we would go to the football field that was off campus, and we would set up and we'd do live reporting to the city from the Turkey
From the
Bowl.
that's so cool.
Yeah, like from
Wow.
outside the Airstream, because it was Nashua High North versus Nashua High South. Oh, what are we gonna? And it was just so silly, but looking back, it's like, what a gift it was that I got to be involved in this program that gave me a taste of production.
Yeah.
And I think what I loved about it was like when we were going live, when we did have a deadline and we're like, oh no, something's not working. We need to fix it
Problem
because
solved.
we're exactly. I loved that rush. I also loved being in the control room and being like calling the show. And
Yeah.
like the switcher was so much
Switching.
fun. Yeah. I loved it so much. And then I went away to college. I took a couple film classes. When you go to college, you don't really take
Yeah.
You don't know what you
general-
are,
Yeah.
who you are, where
yeah,
you
exactly.
are. Yeah.
Like film history, like, yeah, I'll watch the same.
Oh boy.
You know, just like,
Yeah.
I didn't really get a ton out of like my college experience, and I realized it wasn't for me. So I pieced out. I said no. went back to the IT provider I was working at. So I took essentially a year off from that job, and then I was like, hey, I'm gonna stop going to school full time. Do you want me back as a full-time employee? And they're like, yes, please. So I came on back, continued my career in IT. And then after a couple years, I'm like, I had been doing stand-up and comedy, and I was really enjoying that. And I'm like, I just don't think I'm going to stay in New England. I think I'm going to go. And if that's true, then it doesn't matter. Like, I shouldn't be trying to move up at this company. I shouldn't be trying to do other things. I should just be looking at, where am I going to go? Chicago, New York, or LA?
Okay.
The three, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the time, I had a sister living in Anaheim and a sister living in Hollywood. But both of my sisters had already moved.
Oh,
to
so they're
Southern
already in
California.
LA.
Yeah. So I'm like, the quickest move that I could make
It's
would
to LA.
be, and I have a bit of a support system here. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to
What year was this again?
That was 2014 is when I moved.
Okay.
So
2014.
March was 11 years since I moved from New Hampshire. So yeah, I was out here taking classes, doing stand-up, finding that creative community.
Yeah.
And I was working in IT because that's what my experience was. That's where a job that I could have a steady enough paycheck, but I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And after a couple years of working in IT out here, I just could not deny how unhappy I was. And I didn't really have a plan, but I walked into my boss's office through tears and said, I have to give you my 2 weeks notice. And he's, what are you talking about?
Oh man. Yeah.
He's what? And I'm like, I'm happiest. I said, I'm happiest when I'm on set and I need to try pursuing that. And he's, so you want a career change? And I said, yeah. And he's, and there's no amount of money I could offer you to try to keep you to stay. And I said, no. And he's, we want you to be happy. He's obviously, we want you. I support you.
Yeah.
You.
It's like sending a child to college.
I'm like, I was like weeping. Like,
Yeah.
I could not, in the middle of the day on, I don't even know what day of the week it was, but it was a work day.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, because I had decided, I'm like, this, I can't keep, it hurts. It would hurt more to keep trying to
Try. Yeah.
than to never try at all.
Yeah.
So he's okay. We want you to be happy. And 2 weeks later, I started as a director's assistant to Kimmy Gatewood, an amazing director, Emmy-winning director.
Okay.
I was her assistant for 10 weeks. She won the Emmys since I was her assistant. So at the yeah, that's right. I had something to do with it. No, she's very talented. I got to be her assistant for about 10 weeks on a web series. And an interactive web series, which was such an interesting experience. But the post house that was editing that web series, I got to meet them through like my last 2 weeks working with Kimmy. And on my last day with her, we were walking out of the office of that production house, and Kimmy shouted to the owner, David Clare, wonderful guy, said, hey, if you ever want to see Lauren again, you better offer her a job because she's unemployed as of 5 o'clock tonight. And I'm like, okay, bye. Yeah, I got a call from him on Monday. I started on Tuesday.
Ah, cool.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he hired me as an office assistant, and we didn't really know. He like just said, yeah, we like you. We like your vibe. Stick around. And in 3 months, I had gone from office assistant to de facto director of operations because I had this skill set from IT. And the person who was handling things like onboarding and payroll and like time cards and insurance, like she had stepped away for a time and I was covering for her. And then she came back to say, I'm not coming. So that kind of became my role.
Yeah.
So I was like half producing, half director of operations there for 3 years. And then I left for an opportunity to production manage for CBS. And I've been doing my own thing for almost 4 years.
That's crazy.
Yay!
Yay.
Everything else is history. Yes.
Is there anything that's coming up? The last project we worked on was Loco, which was
Yeah.
awesome.
A wonderful short film we shot in January.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes, it was awesome. I guess you want to talk more about that. When is that coming out or has come out?
Sure. Yeah, we are so close to finishing. The sound mix is the last piece, but we've submitted to a handful of festivals. We had won the Shore Scripts short film grant in spring of 2023, and with that came 3 months of working with a festival consultant. So Eddie and I are working with a really great festival consultant to really make sure that our festival strategy is one that puts Eddie as the writer director and the film in the best possible places to be maybe turned into a series, because it started as a pilot and then he rewrote it as a short film so that would be something producible. So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with it. I think Eddie's really happy with it.
Do you feel that's a good how has the experience been with I've never heard of a festival consultant before.
Oh yeah. So we're still pretty new in working with her. We did an initial call about a month ago, and then just this past week we did a call where she essentially presented her next 90 days for Loco. I mean, her whole job and festival consultant's whole job is to be very tied into film festivals and what they're looking for. She knows a ton of the programmers. I believe she's actually one of the programmers at Tribeca as well. So her whole job is to be able to meet with filmmakers and watch a project and know
whether they would like that or not.
Yeah, based on our goals and based on what the vibes of the festivals this year are, to know to plug it in, because she knows that we have a strict budget. She knows that we no indie film has thousands of dollars for these festivals. And submissions, it could be $10 and it can be
or $50 or $80.
or 100 or more.
Yeah, I know.
It's truly crazy. But yeah, festival consultants, their whole job is to know, and even to know down to the detail of when is the best time in the submission window to submit your film based on how many submissions they get and based on the deadline. And I'm like, I had never thought about I've heard don't submit late deadline because their programming is already
do. Yeah.
That's a kind of a common street bit of advice.
Yeah.
But just having conversations with her, there could be reasons to submit. You don't want to be one of the first. If they're going to be watching 10,000 more submissions, if you're one of the first, they might forget about you really quickly if you submit early. So it's just so funny that I've never thought that where you submit could affect your chances depending on the volume of submissions that festivals are getting. It's really interesting. And because we're so early, we've only submitted to Sundance, of course.
Yeah.
Look, in our defense, Eddie Mujica, the writer-director, is a Latin fellow member from Sundance. So he is, in theory, there is an amount of support that Sundance provided Loco in the form of notes and watching down cuts and, giving Eddie advice based on what we had already planned for Loco. So that's great. No money involved in that. Good for Eddie. And for the project. So we submitted to Sundance and South by Southwest. But now we're going to be moving forward with the 90-day plan that our festival consultant put together for us. So I'm excited to look back in 4 months to be like, where was the world premiere? Where did we get into? There are some stretch options on there, but also some safer bets. But it's nice because usually, Christine, this is absolutely
we
fascinating. Have to figure it out.
Yeah, this is absolutely fascinating because you know what my plan was? Throw shit and be like, let's just set it here and set it here and see what happens. That was my whole plan.
That's so much of I'm an alum of a lot of really cool festivals. A lot of it has been just doing that. Maybe we'll get into this. Maybe we'll get into this. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? It was a lot of who knows.
Yeah, but learning about the importance, I think, of the world premiere, and some festivals really give a shit about premiere status.
Yeah, I know about that.
Some don't. Some say it needs to be, as long as it's a city premiere, then they're fine with it. The city that is hosting the festivals.
Yeah.
I story produced and edited a feature documentary called Indoctrinated, and we're in our festival run right now, where we're screening at our second festival in November. But this is a situation where we, as the filmmakers, our core group of 4, we're where are we alum? Where do we have a pretty good documentary, feature documentary track. It's just we're just thinking we think this all makes sense, but because we don't really know, it's then you could be throwing money away on the application fees. Or if we wanted to hire a consultant, in theory, we'd pay the consulting fee and then maybe have more targeted film festivals where we have a better shot of getting it.
Right.
So it's really just like how much money do you have? Where can the budget go?
More bang for your buck.
Yeah. So it's like if you don't have someone who specializes in that, there's going to be an amount of trial and error. Like you said, Christine, it's just like throwing stuff and
spaghetti.
like,
It's
maybe
throwing
like
spaghetti at a wall.
I'd like
no
to
different
go
than
to the
being on
UK.
set.
Hopefully a little more planning, but the figuring figuring it out as you go aspect, 100%.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I was like, I've never really considered doing like a festival strategy person, but it makes a lot of sense. It cuts out a lot of the guessing game. Yeah, that makes sense. Especially if somebody's already a programmer or has been a programmer or is like has direct contacts to some of these festivals, they would know, yes, they would program this or wouldn't program this. So just save your money, basically.
Yeah, for sure. But then you got to pay their fee, obviously. So it's like you gotta have to spend money somewhere.
Yeah.
Pay to play.
Yeah, but if one,
Hollywood.
I think if one means less rejection emails, that might be the preferred
route.
Yeah, because it is tough when you submit to 30 festivals and you only get into one.
Yeah.
It like wears on you as a creative.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and this project in particular I story produced it and I got to edit it. So like this is the project that I've poured the most of my own creativity into. But I'm glad that I have so many banked rejections from past projects in the festival world.
You know how it feels.
I can be like, it's so political. It has nothing to
it just goes through you.
Anything.
Yeah.
It's okay, which I am grateful for because other people's creative endeavors I've gotten the rejection emails for. But this is not that I wasn't creatively involved in past projects, obviously, but
you can be a little bit more separated. Just
I can, yeah, for sure. But
meanwhile, everyone else is having an existential crisis. They're just like, oh God, there goes my year.
I for sure have those. I don't want anyone listening to think that I don't have those meltdowns. Yeah.
What do you have coming up that you are looking forward to or would like to promote or for people to look out for?
Yeah, I guess probably Indoctrinated is one of them. It's my top priority at AFM this year. My goal is to find distribution for this feature-length documentary that I've worked on it for about 3 years. The whole team's been working on it for over 10. It's been a long journey for them, but I want to find distribution and I'm excited because I went to AFM last year, obviously, but the film, it wasn't finished yet. It just wasn't finished. It wasn't in a place that was like ready to go. And I do feel like it is now. And because versus a documentary versus a narrative, it's a much lower budget. I feel like there's less pressure to make the investment back, to find a home for it.
Sure.
It's because the other project I have is Sky Crash, which is a fantasy sci-fi film that we shot in Oregon in March and April of last year, which is great, but that had a higher budget. So I feel like it would be easier for me to be like, let me practice, let me teach myself distribution, which I've never gone through before. These are my first 2 features that I'm so proud of, both so proud of for different reasons. But I'm going to go to AFM to find distribution for Indoctrinated. I'm going to set up those meetings in advance. I'm going to find potential homes. I'm going to be charming. I'm going to be charming and get a whole new stack of business cards at AFM.
More trophies.
Yeah. The 188 VFX shots are like 80% done.
Wow.
VFX is like the last piece until that's ready to be delivered to. And the writer, director, EP and we just signed with a producer's rep, which is very exciting. And I did not know what a producer's rep is. Do you guys know what a producer's rep is?
No, producer's rep?
Yes.
Is it like a manager for a producer?
It's more like it's like a sales agent, but it's different because with a sales agency, if we had gone to a sales agency and said, yes, we want to sign with you, we give them the rights to our movie for an amount of time. It could be like 2, 3. I've heard horror stories of 10 years, which sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Never do that. No one ever signed your rights away for that long. Yeah. But an agency, they have the rights to your film for a set amount of time, and then they go out and they make the deals. And the filmmakers have no say. They have no say in who they go with distributors. They have no say in the size of the deals, the the length of the deals, like there are so many things that like the filmmakers have to relinquish the rights, right? A producer's rep essentially takes the place of the sales agent and goes to distributors directly and brings the deals back to the filmmakers and makes it a conversation. So we can say, if theatrical, for example, was super important to us, we could say, this is a non-negotiable. And then when he goes out to these distributors who he has relationships with, then he comes back to us and it's okay, this is what they're offering. These are the terms. And then he does the negotiating for us to try to get us the best deal. So the filmmaker has more control. And I am so grateful that we have decided to move forward working with the specific producer's rep because his references all checked out. Everybody says he's a great guy, which is very important. I want to align myself with good people, especially in a part of the industry that's so intentionally opaque. Like distribution and sales
it's so sketchy.
It is, and it's
you
so
could be with
easy.
some shifty folks for sure.
100%, and it's so easy. It's so easy because I've just heard so many horror stories from my filmmaker friends about losing the rights to their projects. Or Christina, I know you and I have talked about experiences that you've had where all, like worldwide rights were distributed or were given, but not fully taken advantage of.
Yeah, so I'm still dealing with that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy for filmmakers to get scammed or taken advantage of or ripped off with these things that they've poured years of their life into. Like the artistry of it, it's to only then have that be taken away or taken advantage of on the sales and distribution side. So I was feeling the pressure of finding distribution, finding a home for this sci-fi fantasy, my first narrative feature that essentially was self-funded by the writer director EP, but it's like that's a higher price point. I was like looking at these two projects. It's like, could I teach myself how to do this and get his investment back and find a profit? I absolutely could, but it could also take 2 years longer than if we go with someone who already knows how to navigate, who already has 20 years in this industry, who already has 20 years worth of relationships. So I was very grateful that the writer director of Sky Crash, Tegan Carter, I call him my partner in crime because I do feel like we're both like really in this project together. Do you feel like he really trusts me? Having several conversations about this this producer's rep rather. And like him coming around to, okay, let's do it. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Thank you. I think it is what's best for the project. And this poor producer's rep, we got lunch a couple weeks ago and I'm like, just so you know, if we sign with you, I'm young and hungry and love learning. So I'm gonna have questions for you. And he's sure. And I'm fine training you. I'm like, okay.
You say that now. I'm holding to you.
I'm like, my nightmare would be for us to sign with him, and in 3 months he's looking back. I did not agree to train a bitch. Okay, I did not. I did not.
I didn't put this in writing.
Yeah, it's like this was not in my terms of the contract.
Did not agree to train.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, yo, I'm a good person, and I'm hungry, and I love learning and growing. As a default, as a human being, like I love documentaries. Like I consume more docs than anything else because I just love learning about stuff I didn't know. And distribution is a huge part of the industry that again is like intentionally kept behind closed doors, kept so quiet.
Christine knows all about that.
So annoying.
Yeah,
it is. So many things. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
so much stuff. I'm like, I would have done so many things differently if I had known. Yeah. But now I know. Now you know.
Yeah. So hopefully in the next couple months, there will be distribution deals and homes for both of these films to live out in the world and be seen. Hopefully. Yeah. Those are two. And then obviously several films in development. Loco, I'm very excited about. I think that we're going to have a very good film festival run. It's a great script. So, and it was a good set. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Good stuff.
And then 15 other things, but you don't have to.
Yeah, it always is though.
You gotta.
Just always working. Always cooking.
Yep.
We're always cooking. Everybody's cooking. Yes, in LA.
Yeah.
What else is there to do in LA other than just doing that? It is funny because it is funny how much y'all work, and then I think of Texas here, like locally, and I'm just like, man, we could be getting so much more shit done. Like it can just be nothing against the Texas filmmakers here. I love my Austin.
It's often missed the pace of Austin, but then I look back and I'm like, but I have done a lot here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing that I mentioned, I'm trying to unlearn some of that like hustle, productivity
Right.
is king kind of thing. Like that's good, but I'm also a business owner. I started my own production company in May of 2022. Like
Mhm.
I feel like there should be an amount of hustle, like
Absolutely.
and there is, but it's like I, for my own sanity, need to know where is the line when that hustle starts to be detrimental to myself
Right,
and like
right.
my own health. And the fact that so much of I'm constantly busy. I have so much to do every day, constantly
Yep.
spinning plates and juggling. But so
Yep.
much of the work that I do is either development, so it's unpaid until I find money for it.
Yeah.
It's post production, which I don't get paid to manage or to push through. It's me having to, in my off time, still be learning and growing and taking these courses and listening to these webinars and like listening to these podcasts and like trying to constantly grow so that I'm ready for the next challenge, whatever it is. It's just like I live in a constant state of absorbing information.
Yeah.
And that is an exhausting way to live
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yes. Yes.
So it's just like I have to practice knowing where those boundaries need to be, setting them, following them, holding myself accountable to not breaking those rules. And then also, how am I unwinding? How am I? Because it can't just be watching documentaries, because I'm constantly evaluating what's edited, how it's shot. What is the budget like? Did they shoot this on location? What were their permits like?
I know.
How big of a budget? I wonder how big of a deal they got from Netflix. I'm like looking into. I'm on IMDb Pro looking at like the production companies that are making these. What else are they making?
Yeah.
Do they like? Is this their first one with Netflix? Like
we had to find other hobbies.
Yeah, I know. I would very much open to hobby suggestions, because boy, it's hard to turn
Turn it
off.
off.
That's the same
It's
thing for
very
Christine,
difficult.
but I told Christine she should get into gaming, although that might be bad. That might be
Yeah,
to do it.
then I'll be checking who owns the IP, and if there's a movie, Adam, this is a bad pitch.
This is a bad pitch. It's not good.
It's not good.
Because I keep telling her, I'm like, man, you do need to unwind somehow. And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, what about gaming? And she was like, no.
Yeah, man, honestly, I would love to be able to be a gamer. My husband is a huge gamer. And
Yeah.
I've always just been so confused by it. Like I play Mario Kart sometimes, and even then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't even think of it as a hobby myself until like I go on dates or something and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, a game? And they're like, wow, okay, that's a hobby.
That's the only answer.
Yeah, that's all I do.
Yeah.
I watch a ton of movies. But like you said, though, like I don't enjoy movies in the same way that I used to, because I do think about that. I'm just like, I wouldn't write it that way. I want to do it that way. And I can't really watch things the same. Gaming is literally my only outlet that I can sink my teeth into, that I can block out all the noise around me. Although most of the time I don't even have time for that, because I'm just trying to work and trying to hustle as much as possible. So it's usually, if I'm not working, I'm laying horizontal somewhere.
Good. Yeah, good. I'm so glad that you have that as a hobby. Like I am envious. I really am. I wish I had something. The closest thing now, I guess, would be strength training, but that's only a couple hours.
That's what my roommate
Y'all
told
work
me.
out.
It was like, the only thing you do to relax is working out. I was like,
That's not bad
yeah,
though.
yes,
Health benefits, yeah.
Yes.
Has health benefits. It brings you longevity. You're not sitting down.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I know about Christine. She doesn't like to sit very long. She went to, there was one time, was it Ursula? Christine, you told me like you were editing while on the treadmill or something like that. Like you were on like an exercise bike and you would just edit while, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It's just, wow. I'm just multitask doing all these things.
I got in so many steps because I get really dialed into the editing. I forget I was walking. Yeah.
Oh boy, that sounds
So you just
pretty
shoot off the
dangerous. Actually,
treadmill.
yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah, you gotta have the buddy system. Have your roommate check in every 15 minutes or so.
Face down.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, it's so funny. Yeah, we need to find like real hobbies that won't allow us.
Oh,
will
yeah, for
help
sure.
us turn off.
Yeah. So I need a hobby that I won't try to turn into a paid thing.
Business,
My whole lifelong track record of hobby starts for joy reasons, and then it turns into I'm renting. I did
Yeah.
some like fan art for a while, and it turned into I'm renting booths at conventions to be a vendor, and it's like,
Dude,
this is now I've got
Yeah.
an Etsy
Now
shop.
this is a whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's a whole thing, and I'm losing money on it.
Yeah.
It's not fun, and I'm losing money.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yes, I've been told that many times. You can't make everything that is supposed to be a hobby into a business.
Watch
Yeah.
me, buddy. Watch me. Watch
Oh,
me
I will.
strip my own joy from the things I used to love.
Yeah.
I can do it to anything.
I can do it real easily.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Check back in 6 months and I'm a fitness model, and that's ruined too. That's just gone.
I revamped my IG page. I do fitness stuff now.
Yeah. Full rebrand.
Oh man, Lauren, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
loved
me. This was
chatting with
fun.
you.
This was
Yes.
fun. You got to come
This
back.
is
We got to
very,
hang
very
out.
fun.
Yeah.
Because we're at like the 3rd episode, and right now I got a 10-1 so freaking bad.
Yeah, you go.
So we got to
So
have
we're
you
gonna
come
do-
back and do a longer episode so we can gab it up. you
I
know?
love talking. I do.
love yapping. We love talking here at the Get Reelisms podcast. So
Right.
thank you again, Lauren, for coming in. And you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Housekeeping
it.
time.
There you go.
GetRealisms.com, ladies and gentlemen. Get your books, get your hats, I don't have a tee, but get those tees what Christine's wearing, get your hats. GetRealisms.com, baby.
Wherever you are.
And
I
if
don't know
you're-
where
Wherever you are, if you're a filmmaker, come take a look. Go to getrealisms.com. Go
That's
on
right.
YouTube, subscribe to us. Go on
Yes.
Spotify, wherever you are listening, to hear some of our most talented people in the industry trying
More
to
talented than
hustle
me.
and make it happen.
Oh.
So, like Lauren,
Yay.
Yes,
Awesome.
exactly.
LA
Thank you
producer.
both. Yay.
Yes.
Hire
Hire
us.
us.
Listen to
Y'all,
us.
I'm trying.
We know what we're doing, and this is a free podcast, so everybody enjoys. Just all we ask is subscribe. And if you feeling like, hey, get Reelisms.com, just pick up a book, pick up whatever you need. All right, y'all. That's been the Get Reelisms podcast. Thank you so much, Instagram. Thank you so much, Facebook. We love you, but we gotta go now.